Hey, welcome back, 8th graders. We're talking about a new topic today, or this evening, or whenever you are watching this. Today's topics: parallel lines, transversal lines, and alternate interior angles. Some of this is kind of new for me too, so I might struggle teaching this. Sorry. But okay, so get out a pen, a pencil, and let's take some notes. So hopefully you can see this. Parallel lines. Well, so that's something that you guys probably already know, but parallel lines are two lines that never converge or diverge. They never get closer or further apart. They're always the exact same distance from each other, parallel lines. So I've got a little star here about taking this information. Please note this. This is something important. You see these little arrows? Whenever you see these arrows, they're letting you know that those lines are parallel. So it's telling you right here, these two lines are parallel with each other because of the little arrows. Okay, so press pause, take some notes. There's the little arrows. All right, I'm gonna move on. A transversal line. Okay, what is a transversal line? It's any line that goes through two other lines at two distinct points. So it says it's a line that passes through two lines on the same planes, through two distinct points. So you can see this line right here, point B should be over here. Hello, B. This is a transversal line because it's passing through these two lines right here at point D and point B on the same plane. So that's called a transversal line, is any line that passes through two other lines on the same plane through two different distinct points. Okay, write that down. No, we already have that. Okay, so then the next thing is, it says a transversal line intersects two parallel lines. The corresponding angles are congruent. Okay, when having trouble talking. When a transversal line intersects two parallel lines, their corresponding angles are equal, congruent. So notice this. You've got two parallel lines, and I forgot to put the little slash, okay? But that means they're parallel. Remember those little arrows to let you know they're parallel. I've got two parallel lines. I also have angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5, angle 6, angle 7, angle 8. What this is saying is when you have a transversal line intersecting two parallel lines, their corresponding angles equal each other. So that means this angle right here, angle 1, corresponds with angle 5. They are congruent. And you can probably look at it and go, yeah, they look the same. Look, they look the same. Likewise, angle 3 would correspond with angle 7. They are congruent. So when you have a transversal line intersecting two parallel lines, they have corresponding congruent angles. So I also have this here. If you can see this, there's a little star. So it says angles that occupy the same position at each intersection. If the two lines are parallel, the corresponding angles are equal. So you can write that if you want to, or just say when you have a transversal line and they intersect at two parallel lines, the corresponding angles are congruent. Okay. Okay, press pause if you need to. All right, I'm moving on. Exterior and interior angles. Exterior, interior angles. So here, notice the white. Those would be considered my exterior angles. And the blue, angles C, D, E, and F, these would be considered my interior angles. And why do we need to know that? Okay, so here's the reason why. So there's this theorem that says if you have two parallel lines that are cut by a transversal line, then the alternate interior angles are also congruent. So if you have two parallel lines that are cut by, so notice I've got two parallel lines right here, and I've got a transversal line. And it's saying the alternate interior lines, remember these are your interior angles, these are your interior angles, and the alternate interior angles are congruent. So they're saying this. They're saying this angle is congruent with this angle. Do you notice that? Do they look like the same measurement? Yeah, they do. So whenever you have that happen, whenever you have two parallel lines and a transversal line intersects, the alternate interior, see how they're alternate, are congruent. Likewise, this angle, let's do a different color here. This angle is congruent with this angle. The alternate interior angles equal. So write that down. And a theorem, I don't know if you really need to know this or not, but a theorem is just saying it's, well, it's not necessarily self-evident, but it can be proven. I mean, here we can prove this by just getting out a protractor and measuring this angle right here. We can measure angle C, which looks like it is, okay, come on now. It looks like it's 65 degrees. So this angle here looks 65 degrees. We want to measure the interior, my bad, we want to measure the interior. So we want to measure, let's measure angle D here, which is 105 degrees, I think. This one is 105. So this angle here is 105. That means this angle here has to be 105. And if we use a protractor and measure that angle, we would see that it is 105 degrees. I don't know how well you can see that, on your on your video, but that angle there is, based on this protractor, 105 degrees. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. I have a diagram and I have labeled, I've got these points on here. Notice these are parallel lines and here's a transversal line going through it. And so I ask you 4 questions here. So press pause and solve these problems. And then the last thing I want you to do is, again, I have 2 parallel lines, a transversal line. They're parallel by the arrows again. This time I don't have the points, but they're just, because sometimes you'll see this in your textbook or on a worksheet or so. But here, they're just identified by angle 1, which is talking about this exterior. Angle 2, this exterior, angle 3, angle 4. So you're just calling them by angle numbers, not by 3 points. And so I have 10 questions here. So let's try to answer these. I should have little degree marks right here. This is degree, degree, degree. But number 5 just says identify 2 complementary angles. That's a little review of things that we covered in the last video tutorial. Number 6, identify 2 angles that are congruent. There's lots of angles up here that's congruent. Identify an exterior angle. Okay, so think about what's our exterior angles. Look back in the video tutorial if you don't remember. Number 7, it says if angle 4 is 54 degrees, if this angle right here is 54 degrees, then what's angle 8? Same thing, if angle 4 is 54 degrees, what's angle 1? If angle 4 is 54 degrees, what's angle 3? And you should be able to know that. You should be able, based on the information that we have just discussed, you should be able to figure this out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know there was a lot of talking, there was a lot of writing, not too much fun, but I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.